Welcome to Bible Stories, Episode 2. In the previous episode, we witnessed the creation of the heavens, the earth, the oceans, the stars, and every living creature. But creation was not yet complete, because the most personal part of the story, the creation of humanity, was about to begin. Today we step into the peaceful beginning of life itself, the story of the Garden of Eden, where the first man and woman were created and placed in a world prepared by God's own hands. On the seventh day, God rested from all the work of creating that he had done. This wasn't a rest of exhaustion, but one of completion, of satisfaction. He blessed the seventh day and made it holy, a sacred time set apart, a divine pause to admire the masterpiece he had just finished. It was a rhythm of work and rest, woven into the very fabric of creation from the start. Now, at this point, no shrub had yet appeared on the earth, and no plant had yet sprung up. Why? Because the Lord God had not yet sent rain on the earth, and there was no one to work the ground. Instead, streams would come up from the earth and water the whole surface of the ground. It was a world poised, waiting for its steward. And so, the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground. Imagine that for a moment. Not from stardust or celestial light, but from the humble, rich soil of the earth. He then breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. This wasn't just animation. It was an infusion of spirit, of soul, a divine spark. The first man, Adam, opened his eyes, not to a barren wasteland, but to the face of his Creator and a world of wonder. Then, the Lord God planted a garden in the east, in a place called Eden. This was no ordinary garden. It was a paradise, a sanctuary of breathtaking beauty and abundance. The Lord made all kinds of trees grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. Picture rivers of crystal clear water, flowers of every imaginable color releasing sweet fragrances into the air, and trees laden with succulent fruits. A river flowed out of Eden to water this magnificent garden, and from there it divided, becoming for headwaters. The name of the first is the Pison. It winds through the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. Aromatic resin and onyx are also there. The name of the second river is the Gihon. It winds through the entire land of Cush. The name of the third river is the Tigris. It runs along the east side of Asher. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. These weren't just mythical streams. They were real, life-giving arteries flowing through this divine landscape, hinting at a world rich with resources and beauty. In the middle of the garden stood two very special trees, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The tree of life offered perpetual existence, a connection to the unending life of God. The other tree, the tree of knowledge, held a different kind of power, a different potential. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. This was humanity's first purpose, our original vocation. It wasn't a chore or a burden, but a joyful partnership with God. Adam was to be a gardener, a cultivator, a steward of this perfect creation. He was given a mission to tend, to nurture, and to protect the beauty that surrounded him. This work gave him dignity and purpose, a meaningful role in God's world. And the Lord God gave the man a command. He said, "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For when you eat from it, you will certainly die." This wasn't a restrictive rule meant to spoil his fun. It was a boundary of love, a single prohibition in a world of absolute freedom. It was an invitation to trust, to live in dependence on God as wisdom rather than seizing a knowledge that humanity was not yet ready for. The consequence? Death, wasn't just physical but spiritual, separation from the source of life itself. As Adam explored the garden, tending to its needs, a new reality became clear. The Lord God said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." God recognized a relational void in Adam's heart. He was surrounded by beauty, but he lacked a counterpart, someone to share it with, someone who was his equal. So, the Lord God brought all the wild animals and all the birds in the sky to the man to see what he would name them. And whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. Can you imagine this incredible procession? Lions, eagles, dolphins, every creature parading before Adam. In naming them, he was exercising his stewardship, his God-given authority and understanding of creation. He saw their strength, their grace, their uniqueness, but as he named the pairs of animals, he must have felt his own solitude more deeply. For Adam, no suitable helper was found. There was no one like him. So, the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and then closed up the place with flesh. This wasn't an afterthought. It was an intimate, personal act of creation. From Adam's own side, from his very bone and flesh, God fashioned something new. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. When Adam awoke, he saw her. He wasn't just seeing another creature. He was seeing his perfect complement, the answer to the ache in his soul. In that moment of pure recognition and joy, he exclaimed, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." It was a poem, a love song, a declaration of unity and shared identity. She wasn't his subordinate, but his equal, created from him and for him. This is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. This is the origin of marriage, a sacred union designed by God himself, a bond so deep it merges to individuals into a new, unified whole. And in this perfect world, Adam and his wife were both innocent and unashamed. Their innocence was complete. There was no guilt, no fear, no reason to hide from each other or from God. Their relationship was one of total transparency, trust, and vulnerability, a beautiful reflection of their open and unbroken fellowship with their Creator. They lived in perfect harmony with God, with each other, and with the world around them. It was a life of pure joy, purpose, and love, the beautiful beginning that God intended for all of humanity. This story from Genesis 2 is more than just an ancient tale. It's a profound look into our origins, our purpose, and the nature of our relationship with God and with each other. It sets the stage for everything that follows in the human story. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back to the Garden of Eden. If this story touched your heart or gave you something new to think about, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into these timeless narratives. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next video. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please share them in the comments below. Until next time, may you find beauty and purpose in your own corner of the world.